The EduTech guys present a conversation from our live coverage of FETC in Orlando, Florida on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. Enjoy the program.
Good afternoon. My name is Walt Smith. I'm the Director of Education for Hoffman Academy, part of Hoffman Homes for Youth. We are located in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
We are a private special education school that works specifically with students with severe mental illness, social emotional disabilities, things of that nature.
Okay.
What brings me here is we're about 3 years old, and I knew all of the benefits of the Makerspace movement.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to have one. My students especially needed a space where there was no right or wrong. They could create, explore, innovate. That'd be so beneficial for them. The challenge was, due to their history of self-injurious or suicidal behaviors and aggression, I couldn't have a lot of the typical things you'd find in a makerspace, like a laser cutter, X-Acto knives. My school's not even able to have scissors, staples, paper clips, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I needed to find a way to bring this fantastic resource to my students in a way that I could maintain the safety of my students and staff. I reached out to a friend of mine who works at Mackin Educational Resources, who is also here, and explained my situation because they are just top-notch at materials for makerspaces. She took a deep breath, looked at me, and said, "Challenge accepted," which I wasn't expecting at all. So that was awesome. So we spent about a year going through different resources, trying them out, and trying to build. And we have a makerspace for at-risk students, and that's what I'll be presenting on Thursday.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and that is a huge need. We were talking about Makerspace for SPED kids, risk students, all students, because that's a great outlet for those kids that might need that square peg in that round hole.
It needs to be accessible to all learners.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in a lot of schools, it's not at this point.
Yeah.
So we need to do what we can to make it so.
But now, in this great big world, there's so many opportunities to find the stuff that we need without sharp objects and without anything that might cause any problems. Just cardboard creation alone and duct tape. Well, wonderful stuff.
Absolutely. That's what we started to find, that nothing that we've got or done is at all rocket science. We are not brilliant geniuses at all. It's just looking at things from a different lens.
Yeah.
What works, what doesn't. We've done a lot with edible activities, cookies and dried pasta, things like that, for different constructing, design thinking activities. Like you said, the cardboard creation, there's a great product called Make Do's that have plastic screws and things.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, not all of their products are the safest.
Sure.
I've spent more time than I want to admit in my office trying to scratch my own skin with various products.
Sure.
Some more successful than others, but that's a great alternative. So I don't have to have real metal screws and objects, and so we've done that. Straw bees have been awesome. Also, essentially plastic straws with little connectors. So my elementary through high school can use that. Another product that my team loves are the Chibitronics, the little adhesive LED lights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of my teachers used it during her World War II unit to show the Allied and Axis powers. So they had to figure out the parallel circuitry, put it together, it lit up. So, that was a great activity for them. And things like Legos, depending upon the safety of your kid, you can use things like that. So Play-Doh. So we do what we can to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love the new robots and circuitry that you can use pins to draw with.
Yes.
What? That's awesome.
There's new stuff every day. I feel like I'm never caught up with the next thing. So, that's another great benefit of this conference.
Yeah.
Trying to see and learn the things I don't know and take that back to my team.
I hope it brings awareness at this conference. It will. To someone that goes, maybe I need to create a company that helps put this all together so that it's an easier place to find this equipment.
That would be a dream come true.
I think it's a perfect entrepreneurial venture in education to go ahead and say, I'm not going to be a millionaire, but I'm going to provide a service because you're not the only teacher that needs this in the United States and around the world.
Absolutely. We crassly joke that we don't grow our students in the backyard. You know, our students come from public schools all over the state of Pennsylvania. These students are in every teacher's classroom. Every teacher has taught a student that's struggling and has these specific needs.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to meet their needs. It's not going to go away.
Right.
Well, and you know, I have to tell you, the fact that you have to, because of the nature of what you do, but your approach to makerspaces for at-risk kids, how many districts that doesn't even enter their head when they start thinking makerspace, right? We're going to put in a makerspace, or we're going to have all this stuff, and probably not until there is an at-risk kid who gets in the classroom and does hurt themselves, and they go, oh, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. And then by extension, how many of those, either now those kids are banned from makerspaces, or you have some districts who go the other direction and say, okay, well, we can't have makerspaces at all because it's not all inclusive, so therefore nobody gets to do it. Well, taking what you're doing and showing folks, look, yes, you can do this. I mean, that is awesome.
It's going to be a great session.
It really is.
Yeah, and that's actually the concern we hear a lot of the time, because, I mean, there are students, for whatever reason, you don't want to give them a sharp object, harm for themselves or others in the room. But at the end of the day, they're still kids, and they still deserve a right to learn.
Right.
And we've also found it's not shocking to anyone in the field, when we provide them with these engaging, enriching opportunities, we see fewer and fewer of these behaviors of concern.
Right. That's a great question, Alex. So you're not just, we keep talking about sharp objects, but let's talk about the emotional and the social kids that you have, because I know those are at-risk kids too.
Yes.
So this has got to, providing them with a makerspace is just a huge outlet for them, especially socially. I'm guessing that for you, that's a huge increase for those kids and probably for your class.
Yes, absolutely. So majority of our students are victims of trauma and abuse. I want to be very clear. To my professional knowledge, there's no such thing as a bad kid.
Right.
The focus is what's happened to them and the strength-based approach. What are they able to do instead of focusing on all the things they cannot do?
Sure.
And with the Makerspace, we're able to infuse so many life and pro-social skills of conflict resolution, problem solving, communication skills that they won't get organically and with the guidance of a professional with them in other cases. So it really is working to all of those strengths and all those skills that they need to have.
Yeah. So in providing these opportunities for the kids, I know the goal is to eventually have them where they don't have to be in the at-risk program.
Absolutely.
They move into a real makerspace, and they're working with all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, and that's another thing. I don't want, so many times when students go away to an alternative ed placement, their education, because of their needs, slows down, and they come back with gaps. So we want to avoid that. I've got all of my students are one-to-one with iPads. I have teachers who've certified in different coding courses, the code.org, Hour of Code, code stuff. So we're trying to make sure, first of all, that stuff is just awesome, let's face it. So the kids want to do it. I'm not twisting their arm. I'm twisting their arm to solve math problems and study history. You say we're doing coding, I'm not twisting any arms. So not only it's a win-win because they're engaged, they want to be a part of what we're doing, and they're not as far behind when they go back into their public schools. They know what's going on.
So I have to say, I'm very proud to know you, because that's a hard job. Because you're taking on emotionally at-risk kids. You're taking on. I saw that you have 2 girls.
Yeah.
So you're not just a dad to 2 girls.
Correct.
That's a hard road.
Well, and what I do is the easy part. My teachers are rock stars. It is a lot easier to lead an awesome, caring, dedicated team like I've got. They're the ones who 40, 50, 60 hours a week, I know they take this stuff home with them. You can't help. All teachers do. Let's be honest.
This is a whole next level.
It is. You focus a lot on self-care for both the students and the teachers.
I was going to say, you're worried about all of them, the teachers and the students.
Yes.
So you've got a big plate there.
But awesome.
The idea of a makerspace in that situation, knowing what we have to deal with, that's a huge deal. It's like band. I was a band director for a long time. And we had a lot of at-risk kids and sped kids. I'd let them come on in. We'll find a place, because it's about reinserting them into that opportunity, having an adult that's going to be there for them,
Absolutely.
That becomes that teachers that you have that are just suddenly, hey, this is that role model. I'm craving attention. This is the person that's going to give it to me, and keeping myself busy.
Yes, exactly.
That's the key.
Yes.
The idle hands are the devil's workshop. So.
Right, yes. No, and it's a totally different lens. We've got a 3D printer, but trying to figure out which model is the safest versus efficiency. So we do have one that we know is not as efficient, but we had to sacrifice that for safety. So just the level of analysis that goes into every single object is pretty astronomical. So my team's awesome. That's really all I can say about that.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Okay, so once again, when's your session?
Thursday, noon.
Thursday at noon. That's a good time.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of folks here.
Very excited.
Well, and I've just been sitting here thinking, many moons ago, I used to work for a residential treatment facility that
We're connected with one, yes.
Yeah, they would bring. They had. They've got students who are at risk for various reasons at this facility, and they've got an on-site school there. I would imagine similar to what your school is like, and I'm thinking now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to reach out to them to get them to reach out to you guys, because I can only imagine that the thought of a makerspace in that environment honestly probably hasn't even, if it entered their mind, my guess is it immediately went out and they went, yeah, we can't be doing this because of the way they see makerspace. Right. But I'm definitely going to have them reach out to you guys, or at least suggest that they reach out to you guys and say, look, this is exactly what he's talking about. At risk makerspace in this nearly, I mean, my guess is the environments are probably very, very similar. And so, I mean, I don't know. My mind is the wheels are just whirring away to talk to this, awesome. to talk back to those folks about the things that you're doing and seeing about possibly reaching out and sharing what you know with them and get one started up.
So
I'm in Arkansas, so
Twitter account
at Hoffman_Academy.
Cool, awesome. And your personal one? Do you have a personal Twitter?
At Mr. spelled out MISTER Smith 731.
Okay, cool. That way, folks can get in touch with you.
Yeah, and, please do. That's how
tweet out. Tomorrow, Thursday, your session is going to tweet blow up like crazy.
You've been listening to a recorded conversation from EduTech Guy's live coverage of FETC 2018. For more information about EduTech Guys, visit edutechguys.com. And thanks for listening.